Hey, what's up? So this is right from where we left off in the previous lesson, and in this one we're gonna talk about a similar module which is called Vortex Velocity. So originally the Unreal Engine removed this module into newer versions. If you don't know how to re-edit, you can watch this pop-up video for the in-depth tutorial. I'll give the link to the video in the description. So let's start. So these are all the modules we used in the previous lesson. Let's add our module Vortex Velocity in the particle update stage. Nice. Also, let's disable the vortex force. Right now, we can't see anything this module is doing. So let's give it a higher value. Now we can see that the particles are revolving around the center. Also, let's disable the velocity to have a better look on what this module is doing. Okay, so the difference between the vortex force and vortex velocity is that the particles aren't pushed away and they are revolving around the center. While in the vortex force, they were being pushed away from the center. Let's give the vortex amount a solid value, something like 20,000. And let's enable velocity. And maybe decrease its value to something like 2. Now we can see that the particles are also moving upwards alongside with revolving in a vortex. So I realized that the vortex velocity module requires a very high value to get the particles in motion. So I found a way to fix this. So for that, click this drop down and select multiply float. So what this will do is give you two values that are multiplying. Maybe try 500 in the float B. That's too much. So maybe 10. That's too less. So maybe let's just try 200 in the float B as well. So this option just keeps the values relatively low, but this is not essential. This is totally optional and on preference, so do whatever you're comfortable with. Nice. Going back to our level, we can see that we have a cool, intense looking animation for the particles. Now, one other thing we can look at here is non-uniform mode in the sprite size. Let's change the X value to something like 2. And let's change the alignment in the sprite render to velocity aligned. So this just does what this option says, aligns the particles with the velocity, and we have a cool looking particle animation. Now we can try seeing the difference between the two modules. Nothing changed. Maybe let's just try re-enabling and disabling. Nice. Increase the velocity amount. Nice. So the difference is that in the vortex force, the particles are being pushed away. And the reason they are being pulled in the center is because of the origin pull option in the vortex force. We can also change the curl noise force to something like 900. That's a bit too much. So maybe 400. And also let's decrease the spawn rate to something like 300. Nice. I'm just gonna enable the vortex velocity and disable the vortex force, as this was a vortex velocity tutorial. So this is the cool animation we created in this tutorial. And that's it for this tutorial. See you in the next one.